When the long war between humans and the Kailari finally ended, Sergeant Liam Ward felt something he had not felt in years, a small, quiet breath of peace. The fighting had taken so much from everyone. Homes were gone, families were broken, and soldiers on both sides had grown tired of fear and loss. Liam was one of the many soldiers who had stayed on the front line since the beginning. He had seen cold nights, loud battles, and moments where he believed he would never see home again. But when the peace agreement was signed, he felt a heavy weight lift from his chest. Most soldiers around him celebrated that night. Some cried, some laughed, and some simply sat down in silence, letting their bodies rest after years of tension. Liam was calm, sitting on a small metal crate outside his tent, watching the sun set over the ruined valley. For the first time, the sky looked peaceful instead of dangerous. He ran a hand over his tired face and thought about how strange it felt to not worry about the next attack. The next morning, his commander called him in unexpectedly. Liam walked into the small briefing room, still half expecting war orders even though it was over. Instead, the commander gave him a surprising assignment. "You're not going home yet, Sergeant," the commander said in a steady voice. "You've been selected for a special duty." Liam stood straight, trying to understand. Most soldiers were being sent back to their families. So why him? The commander placed a file on the table. "You'll be guarding someone very important from the Kailari side." Liam blinked. "Guarding? Sir? The war is over. Why would I need to guard someone?" The commander sighed. "Because this person is delicate and dangerous, according to some reports. At the same time, her safety is important for keeping the peace stable." Liam opened the file and froze. The person he was supposed to guard was not a Kailari leader or a scientist, not even a soldier. It was a Kailari girl. Her name was written clearly, Ariel, maybe 14 or 15 in human years. Her eyes were silver, glowing faintly even in the photograph. Her skin was smooth and pale with faint patterns that looked almost like shining lines, the kind found in some Kailari tribes. She did not look dangerous, at least not to Liam. But the file mentioned rumors, uncontrolled energy responses, unusual senses, and an ability not yet understood. Liam frowned. "Why would I be the one to guard her?" "You have a calm record. No anger issues, no prejudice incidents, no reported hostility toward Kailari prisoners. You follow orders, and you think before acting. That's what she needs." Liam listened carefully. It made sense, but it still surprised him. Most soldiers did not want to be close to any Kailari, especially after such a long war. Many feared them. Others blamed them. Even though the war was over, the feelings had not disappeared. "Where is she?" Liam finally asked. "She's being held in the central building. She arrived yesterday under a peace exchange deal. Many people are already afraid of her, because of her abilities." Liam asked. "Because of rumors," the commander corrected. "Humans fear what they don't understand, and the Kailari. Well, this girl is said to be very unique among them." Liam nodded slowly. He took the file, tucked it under his arm, and accepted the assignment. He had learned long ago that fear often grew stronger than reality. He had also seen enough during the war to know that not everything people claimed was true. When he walked out of the room, he heard soldiers whispering. They stepped aside when he passed, giving him curious and worried looks. One soldier stopped him. "You're guarding her?" The man asked in a low voice, his tone mixed with fear and disbelief. "Yes," Liam answered. "Be careful," the soldier warned. "They say she can sense your thoughts. They say she breaks machines just by walking near them." Liam didn't respond. He simply kept walking. Rumors always changed with distance. One soldier heard a story, another added a detail. And soon the tale became something frightening enough to spread. On his way to the central building, Liam observed the camp. Even though the war was over, people moved with caution. Some soldiers cleaned their weapons out of habit. Others sat quietly, unsure what peace meant for their future. He understood the feeling. He, too, was unsure what came next. When he reached the guarded entrance, the guards nodded nervously and let him in. The hallways were quiet, the lights humming above. Liam walked until he reached a small observation room. Through the glass window, He finally saw the girl. Ariel sat on a simple chair, her hands resting on her knees. Her silver eyes stared at the floor. She was thin, almost fragile-looking, and wore a loose Kailari garment that had been provided to her for comfort. There were 2 guards inside with her, but they stood far away, near the door, as if afraid to get close. Liam stepped inside the room. The guards immediately relaxed. Almost relieved that someone else had come to take their place. "She hasn't said a word," one guard whispered. "Just sits there. But when we first brought her in, some equipment stopped working for a few minutes." "Was she touching it?" Liam asked. "No," the guard admitted. "But still, she's not normal." Liam did not reply. He dismissed the guards and closed the door behind them. For a moment, the room was silent. Ariel slowly lifted her head. Her glowing silver eyes met his calmly but with deep sadness, as if she had already accepted the fear people had for her. Liam approached carefully, not out of fear but respect. He pulled a chair and sat a few feet away, not too close to make her uncomfortable, not too far to show fear. "My name is Liam," he said softly. "I'm here to watch over you." Ariel studied him quietly. Her expression was unreadable. After a long pause, she whispered in a gentle voice, "You are not afraid?" "No," he answered honestly. "Should I be?" She looked down at her hands. "Everyone else fears me, even my own people." Liam felt a small knot in his chest. She did not sound dangerous. She sounded lonely. "Why?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. "Because I am different. I do not always understand my own abilities. Sometimes things happen when I feel strong emotions. I cannot control everything yet." So the rumors were based on that, Liam thought to himself, but he saw something else. The girl was scared of herself. She feared being misunderstood. She feared hurting others unintentionally. He spoke gently. "I'm not here to judge you. My job is to protect you, and I will do that." Ariel raised her eyes again, studying him deeply. She seemed surprised by the calmness in his tone. No one had spoken to her like that since she arrived. Liam could tell she was testing his sincerity, trying to sense whether he was truly different from the others. After a moment, she said softly, "Thank you." It was the first moment of trust. Small but clear, Liam understood then why he had been chosen. This was not just a mission. This was someone who needed safety, someone misunderstood, someone who might even be in danger because of fear and false stories. As he sat there, watching her calm her trembling hands, he knew one thing for certain. This assignment would not be simple. But he also knew he would not turn his back on her. Not now. Not after seeing the truth behind the fear. Liam's assignment officially began the next morning, but he arrived early because something about Ariel stayed in his mind all night. He kept thinking about her lonely silver eyes, her quiet voice, and the way she spoke, as if she expected people to fear her. He had seen many things during the war, but he had never seen a child, because to him she looked like a child being treated like a threat by everyone around her. It bothered him more than he expected. When he reached the central building again, the guards outside straightened up. They seemed tense, as if they were guarding something heavy and unpredictable, rather than a quiet young girl. One of them whispered to him as he passed, "Good luck in there, Sergeant."
Oh.
Liam didn't respond. He simply nodded and continued down the hallway. As he reached her room, he noticed something different from yesterday, a soft hum in the lights above, as if the electricity was flickering. Some guards believed that Ariel caused this kind of thing, but Liam didn't want to jump to conclusions. Old buildings flickered all the time. He opened the door slowly. Inside, Ariel was sitting with her palms flat on the small table in front of her, her eyes closed. She looked deep in thought. When she sensed his presence, she opened her eyes again. They glowed softly, but there was no threat in them, only curiosity and caution. "You came early," she said quietly. "I thought it was better to start the day with you," Liam replied. Pulling a chair closer, "You slept well?" Ariel shrugged gently. "This place is strange to me. Humans build their walls differently. The sounds, the vibrations, they're not what I'm used to." Liam nodded, trying to understand. "Everything is new to you, isn't it?" She nodded. Everything. Even the air smells different here. There was something about the way she observed the world that made Liam slow down and listen more carefully. She didn't speak like a typical teenager. Her voice carried a mix of intelligence and innocence that made people unsure how to treat her. To some, that might seem mysterious or frightening, but to Liam, it simply meant she was someone trying to understand a place she never asked to be in. He leaned forward slightly. If anything scares you or makes you uncomfortable, tell me. My job is to make sure you're safe. Ariel watched him with thoughtful eyes. You speak differently. Most humans look at me as if I am a storm that might arrive at any second. People fear what they don't understand, Liam said simply. And you understand me? She asked, not in an accusing way, but with honest curiosity. Not yet, he admitted, but I'd like to. Ariel lowered her eyes, and a small but genuine expression appeared on her face. Not a smile, but something close. The slightest easing of tension in her features. Before they could continue talking, an alarm rang suddenly in the hallway. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to make Ariel jump in her seat. Liam stood up quickly, ready for trouble, but then a guard rushed in. Everything's fine, the guard said quickly. Just a machine overheating in the tech room. But he glanced at Ariel, then lowered his voice. Some people are saying she caused it. Liam sighed. He understood what this meant. One simple problem, and already people were blaming her. Without checking facts, without thinking, machines break all the time, Liam said firmly. Tell them to stop spreading rumors. The guard nodded weakly, clearly uncomfortable, and left. Ariel lowered her head again. They think I did it. Did you? Liam asked gently. He didn't say it like someone accusing her. He simply wanted to know the truth. She shook her head. I was here the whole time. I did not feel anything unusual. That's enough for me, Liam said, but he knew it wouldn't be enough for everyone else. Ariel's fingers twisted together nervously. Liam understood that gesture. It was the same one he saw in young soldiers when they first faced danger. Except Ariel was not a soldier. She was just someone trapped between fear and misunderstanding. To help her relax, Liam decided to ask questions about her world. Tell me about your home, he said softly. She looked up slowly. My home is far from here. Our buildings are tall, shaped like flowing waves. Our lights are soft, not harsh like these. We do not use hard metal for everything. We use living structures that grow with us. Liam listened with interest. He had only seen Kailari cities from a distance during the war, and even then, they were usually covered in smoke or shields. Hearing her describe them now, they sounded peaceful, beautiful even. What about your family? He asked, then quickly added, only if you're comfortable talking about it. Her expression changed again. A heavy silence filled the room. They were lost in the first part of the war, she said quietly. I was sent to a safe place, but... Her voice weakened. There was no safe place. Not really. Liam felt a knot in his chest. He knew soldiers who had lost family, but hearing it from someone so young hit differently. The loneliness in her voice was clear. I'm sorry, he said sincerely. Ariel nodded, accepting the words, though they would never fill the space of those she lost. For a moment they sat silently. Liam didn't rush her. He knew sometimes silence was the best comfort. A few minutes later, she spoke again. Humans fear me, but the Kailari fear me too. Why? Liam asked. She looked down at her hands. Because I'm not like them. My abilities came early, stronger than any child should have. I cannot always control the energy inside me. When I get scared, things happen. She looked up at him with worried eyes. But I never meant to hurt anyone. I believe you, Liam said gently. We'll work through this one day at a time. Ariel tilted her head slightly, studying him as if she was trying to understand what made him speak so calmly. Why do you trust me? Because I don't see a dangerous creature, he answered. I see a person who needs help. A person who has been through too much. Small light flickered around her fingertips, faint and harmless, almost like static energy. She quickly hid her hands, embarrassed. It happens when I feel strong emotion, she whispered. I'm trying to control it. It's okay, Liam said. You're safe here. I'm not afraid. Her shoulders slowly relaxed. The faint energy disappeared. Liam decided they needed fresh air. Would you like to walk outside? Ariel hesitated. Will people get scared? Let them, Liam replied. You deserve fresh air too. He guided her out of the room. The hallway filled with whispers as soon as other soldiers saw them. Some stepped back. Some stared. Some whispered, "That's her." Ariel lowered her head instantly. It's all right, Liam said, walking beside her like a shield. Just focus on your steps. 8. They walked outside into the sunlight. Ariel blinked slowly, as if she hadn't seen natural light in days. The air was cold, but she inhaled deeply, closing her eyes as if trying to remember a feeling she had lost long ago. It smells cleaner here, she said softly. Different, but cleaner. Liam stood beside her, watching her breathe in the morning air like it was something beautiful. For the first time, she didn't look afraid, just peaceful. Their walk didn't last long, though. A group of soldiers nearby stopped talking when they saw her. One of them whispered loudly, "Why is she out here?" "It's not safe." Another murmured, "Keep your distance." Ariel heard them. Her shoulders lowered again, and her calm expression faded. But before she could panic, Liam stepped forward. "She's allowed to walk," he said firmly. "She's not harming anyone." The soldiers looked, uncomfortable but didn't argue. Ariel glanced at Liam. "You keep standing up for me, because it's the right thing to do," he replied. When they returned to her room, she looked at him carefully, as if trying to memorize his face. "No one has ever spoken for me like that," she said softly. "Not even my own people. They feared me too." "You're not alone anymore," Liam said quietly. It was a simple sentence. But Ariel held on to it like something precious. She whispered back, "Thank you, Liam." And for the first time since he met her, Liam saw a fragile but genuine smile. The next few days passed slowly, but something gentle began to change between Liam and Ariel. Their early conversations were careful and quiet, like two people slowly learning to trust one another. Ariel had spent most of her life being treated as something dangerous, someone to avoid. So every time Liam spoke kindly, every time he showed patience, she reacted with quiet surprise. She was not used to this kind of steady understanding, but trust is something that grows step by step. Not all at once. One morning, Liam entered the room to find Ariel sitting on the floor with her legs crossed. Eyes closed, her palms facing upward. A soft shimmer moved around her fingers, like tiny sparkles that disappeared as soon as they appeared. She seemed calm, almost peaceful. He didn't want to interrupt her, so he waited by the door. After a moment, she opened her eyes and looked up at him. "You came quietly," she said softly. "Thank you. Didn't want to interrupt," Liam replied. She stood slowly. "I was practicing control. My elders taught us to breathe with our energy, not fight it. But I haven't practiced in months. The war made everything noisy." Liam nodded in understanding. "You can practice whenever you want. I'll make sure no one disturbs you." She gave him a small, grateful nod. They sat down at the table. Liam decided to start the day with simple questions to help her feel more comfortable. "What do you like to do?" he asked. Ariel tilted her head slightly. "Do? Something you enjoy?" Liam explained. "For humans, some like reading, some like music, some like walking or drawing." She thought for a long moment. "I like listening. The world speaks in quiet sounds. The air, the metal, the ground. Everything has its own voice if you stay still enough." Liam smiled gently. "That's something most people never notice. Humans move very fast," she said thoughtfully. "Your hearts speak loudly. Your steps are strong. Your thoughts? Sometimes they feel heavy." His eyebrows rose slightly. "My thoughts?" She nodded slowly. "Not exactly. I don't hear them, but I feel the shape of them, like warmth or cold, like pressure or silence." Liam leaned back, thinking, "Does that bother you?" "Sometimes," she admitted. "Not with you, though. When you are near, it feels calm." Her words surprised him. He had never thought of himself as someone who brought calmness to others. But hearing this made him understand that Ariel experienced the world in a way humans never could. No wonder she felt overwhelmed so easily. Liam decided that day that he would help her understand humans better. Not because it was part of his job, but because he truly wanted to. He started by showing her small, simple routines. How humans ate their meals. How they lined up for supplies. How they cleaned their rooms. How they spoke casually to one another. Ariel watched everything with deep interest, almost like a child seeing a new world for the first time. At lunch, he gave her a tray of food. She stared at it carefully. Human food smells different. Strong. Try the bread, Liam advised gently. It's simple, not too strong. She took a tiny bite. Her eyes widened. It is soft. That's good, right? She nodded, taking another small bite, almost happily, during their walk outside. She watched the soldiers talking, laughing, cleaning their gear, and repairing vehicles. She stayed close to Liam, always a bit nervous around others, but curious at the same time. Why do humans laugh so loudly? She asked quietly. Because it helps us feel lighter, Liam answered. She repeated the word softly. Lighter. I think I want to feel lighter someday. Liam looked down at her. You will. One day at a time. That gentle encouragement seemed to stay with her. For the first time, she walked with her shoulders not completely tense, but not everything was peaceful. Later that afternoon, while Liam and Ariel were walking near the perimeter fence, a group of soldiers passed by. Most went silent when they saw her. One of them, a young soldier with an angry look, muttered just loud enough for them to hear, "Why is that thing out here? It shouldn't be walking around like a normal person." Ariel froze instantly. Liam felt her fear like a sudden cold wave. Her hands began to tremble, and small sparks of energy flickered around her fingertips. Liam quickly stepped in front of her, blocking the soldier's view. It's all right, he whispered. Breathe. Look at me, not them. She looked up at him, breathing shakily. The sparks faded. The other soldiers kept walking, but their cold stares remained. Once they were alone again, Ariel whispered, I didn't mean to react. I was scared. You didn't do anything wrong, Liam said firmly. They were the ones out of line. But they're afraid of me, she whispered. And when I feel fear, my energy answers it. What if someday I cannot stop it? Liam kneeled slightly so he could meet her eyes. You're learning control. You're getting stronger every day. And as long as I'm here, nothing will happen to you. She held his gaze for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You are the only person who says that. Then I'll keep saying it, Liam replied. Their bond grew stronger after that moment. Ariel began opening up more, sharing small pieces of her life before the war. She told him about the Kailari forests, where leaves glowed softly at night. She told him about learning songs from her mother that were meant to calm their inner energy. She even told him about her favorite place in her old home, a small cliff, where she used to sit and watch the sky turn violet. Liam listened to everything with quiet attention. He realized she wasn't dangerous. She was hurt, confused, lonely, and she was trying so hard to understand a world that kept pushing her away. One evening, as the sun set behind the camp, Ariel said something that surprised Liam. You defend me even when others look at you strangely, she said. Why? Because you deserve someone on your side, he answered simply. And because I can see you're trying your best. She looked down at her hands. I am trying, she whispered, but I get scared. The energy inside me is loud. It feels like a storm sometimes. That's why we'll take things slowly, he said, and we'll face each storm together. Ariel looked at him again, and for the first time, there was no fear in her eyes, only trust. The next morning, when Liam arrived for their daily routine, he found Ariel waiting by the door instead of sitting in her room. She stood tall, her silver eyes brighter than usual. Today, she said softly, I want to try walking outside again, but this time, I want to stand a little farther from you, just to see if I can. Liam smiled warmly. Of course, I'll be right beside you. Not far, but near enough. They walked out into the crisp morning air. Ariel took slow steps, her hands relaxed, her breathing steady. Some soldiers stared at her, but Liam noticed something different this time. She didn't shrink back. She didn't look down. She kept walking. When she stopped in the middle of the yard, she turned to him. "I did it," she whispered. "I didn't feel afraid." "You did great," Liam said with pride. Ariel took a deep breath. "Maybe I can learn to live in this place. Maybe I can learn to control everything inside me." "You will," Liam said calmly, "and I'll be here to help you." Ariel's small smile returned, stronger this time. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was learning, growing, and beginning to believe that she wasn't alone, not in this strange camp, not in this world, and not inside her own heart. Days passed, and each day brought a small but important change in Ariel. She walked a bit farther from Liam, spoke a bit more confidently, and reacted a bit less fearfully when people stared at her. Liam noticed how she tried her hardest every single day. She wanted to learn. She wanted to adapt. She wanted to belong, even if she did not say those words directly. But even with these small steps, the camp around them did not change as quickly. Most humans still kept a distance. Most still whispered when she passed. Most still feared what they did not understand. Liam tried to shield her from the worst of it, but he couldn't block everything. And sooner or later, something was bound to happen. On the morning that everything changed, the sky was cloudy, and the air felt heavy, as if a storm was preparing itself. Ariel walked beside Liam toward the training field. She wanted to watch the soldiers practice. She believed that understanding their routines would help her understand human behavior. When they reached the field, some soldiers nodded at Liam, but their faces tightened when they saw Ariel. Liam saw the looks uneasy, suspicious, but he ignored them and focused only on her. Ariel stood behind the fence, watching the soldiers run drills. She paid attention to every movement, every command, every pattern. She whispered to Liam, "Humans fight with strength and speed. Kailari fight with harmony and direction." "Harmony and direction?" Liam asked. She nodded. "Our bodies move with energy. We do not strike hard. We strike true." Liam found that interesting, but he had no time to ask more. A group of soldiers across the field began whispering, pointing toward them. One of them, a man named Grant, had been openly hostile since Ariel arrived. He believed that the peace treaty was a mistake, and he especially believed that someone like Ariel shouldn't be allowed near humans. Grant stepped closer. His voice raised so others could hear. "Why do we have her walking around here? Isn't it dangerous enough that we lost our people in the war because of her kind?" Ariel flinched. Liam stepped slightly in front of her. "Grant, don't start." But Grant wasn't interested in listening. His voice became louder. "We're supposed to protect our camp, not welcome a walking threat." He pointed at her, his eyes sharp with anger. "What if she loses control right now? What if she hurts someone again?" Ariel shook her head. "I never wanted to hurt anyone." Grant laughed bitterly. "That's what all of them say." Liam clenched his jaw. "Grant, step back." But Grant ignored him. He moved closer, shouting now. "Look at her. Her eyes, her skin, those glowing marks. How can any of you think she's safe?" Ariel took a step back. Her breathing became unsteady. Liam could see her fingers trembling. "Stop," she whispered, but Grant continued, "That's right. Be scared, because we should be scared of you." Liam turned sharply. "Grant, stop talking to her like that." But his shout only drew more attention. Soldiers around the field stopped training. Some moved closer. Others whispered from a distance. The tension in the air grew thicker, heavier. Ariel's trembling increased. The energy around her fingertips flickered, brighter than usual. She wasn't angry as she was terrified. And fear was the one thing she struggled to control. Liam stepped toward her carefully, slowly, like someone approaching a frightened animal that didn't want to cause harm. "Ariel," he whispered. "Look at me. Breathe." Her silver eyes lifted to his face, full of panic. "I'm trying," she whispered. "But everything is loud. Their fear, their anger. It's loud. I know, Liam said softly, but stay with me. Focus only on my voice. But Grant took another step forward. See, she can't control herself. This is exactly what I mean, she's dangerous. Grant, that's enough. Liam snapped. But it was too late. A sharp crack broke through the air. The electricity from the nearby lights flickered violently. A small wave of energy burst out from Ariel like a silent ripple. It wasn't an explosion. It wasn't violent. But it was powerful, strong enough to push Grant and a few nearby soldiers off balance. Strong enough to send a gust of wind across the field. Strong enough to make everyone's fear double instantly, Ariel gasped and covered her mouth. No, no, no. I didn't mean. Two soldiers scrambled back. Some shouted. Some raised their weapons out of pure instinct. Put the weapons down. Liam shouted quickly. She didn't attack. She just lost control for a moment. But panic was a fast-growing fire, and fear burned logic away. Ariel backed up until she hit the fence. Her eyes were wide, her breath unsteady, her hands shimmering with chaotic energy. She was trying desperately to push down. I didn't want this, she whispered. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Liam moved toward her. Ariel, it's okay. No one is hurt. Just breathe. Remember what we practiced. She shook her head rapidly. They think I'm a monster. You're not, he said firmly. Then why do they look at me like that? She cried softly. He looked around. The soldiers' eyes were full of fear. Grant's face was twisted with anger. The air felt sharp. Everyone was one misunderstanding away from disaster. Liam knew he had one chance to fix this. He placed both hands gently on Ariel's shoulders. Ariel, look at me. She finally met his eyes. You're safe, he said softly. You didn't hurt anyone. You're not alone. I'm right here. Her breathing slowly steadied. Trust me, he said. I am trying, she whispered. The energy around her fingers weakened. Her shoulders lowered. The shimmering glow faded. Within moments, the air calmed. No one moved. Everyone watched the girl, who had just shown a power none of them understood. Ariel wiped a tear from her cheek. I'm sorry, she whispered, even though she had done nothing wrong. Liam stood in front of her, facing the crowd. She didn't attack anyone. She didn't mean harm. She panicked because she was provoked. He looked directly at Grant. You pushed her. Grant scoffed. So what? She's dangerous. No, Liam said firmly. She's scared. And she's trying. That's more than most people give her credit for. A few soldiers looked away, ashamed. Others remained unsure. But most of them lowered their weapons slowly. Liam turned back to Ariel. Let's go inside. You've had enough for today. She nodded weakly. She looked exhausted, drained from both the energy burst and her fear of hurting others. As they walked back to her room, Ariel whispered, This is why my people were afraid too. This is why no one wanted me near them. That's not true, Liam said. You're not dangerous. You're learning. But what if I lose control again? Then I'll help you, he promised. Every time. She looked at him with eyes full of emotions she couldn't name. Gratitude, fear, hope, confusion, all mixed together. Back in her room. Ariel sat down slowly. Are they going to take me away? Not while I'm here, Liam said confidently. But they saw what I did. They will not trust me. Maybe not today, Liam admitted. Maybe not tomorrow. But trust takes time. You're trying, and I'll make sure they see that. She looked down at her trembling hands. I didn't mean to push them. I just wanted them to stop shouting. I know, he said gently. After a long silence, Ariel said something that made Liam pause. Liam, am I really not dangerous? He sat beside her. You're someone who needs guidance. Someone who needs patience. Someone who needs a chance. That doesn't make you dangerous. She breathed slowly, her eyes softening. Okay, she whispered. If you believe that, then maybe I can try to believe it too. Liam smiled gently. Good, because tomorrow we'll start again. Ariel nodded. And for the first time since her energy burst, she looked calmer. She knew the road ahead would not be easy. But she also knew one thing for certain. Liam wasn't going to leave her. Not now. not when she needed him the most. Liam woke up before sunrise, long before the camp began to stir. For the past few days, sleep had been difficult. The air around the camp felt tight, almost heavy, as if everyone was waiting for something to happen. People whispered whenever Ariel walked by. Some pointed. Some stepped aside. Others stared with cold eyes full of fear and doubt. Liam could feel the tension rising more and more every hour. Ariel tried to ignore it, but he could see the pressure weighing on her. She kept her head down, walked quietly, and avoided large groups. She no longer smiled, the small, shy smile she used to give him when mornings were peaceful. Now she barely spoke unless he asked her something directly. She stayed close to him at all times, like she was afraid the world around her might break apart if she moved too far away. Liam couldn't blame her. The incident a few days ago, when she lost control of her power during a panic attack, had changed everything. People who already disliked her now used it as proof that she shouldn't be anywhere near humans. They ignored the fact that she never meant to harm anyone. They ignored that she had been scared. They only saw a dangerous alien girl. That morning, Liam found her sitting quietly outside the small building they lived in, knees pulled close to her chest. Her silver eyes watched the sky slowly turn from black to blue. She didn't look surprised when he sat beside her. "You're awake early again?" he said softly. "I couldn't sleep," she answered. There are too many thoughts, too many angry feelings around the camp. She wasn't wrong. The camp felt like a pot slowly reaching boiling point. Liam rested his arms on his knees. "Whatever happens today," he said carefully, "I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere." Ariel looked at him for a long moment. Her eyes softened. "I know," she whispered. "You are the only person who stays." Her words hurt his chest a little. No one her age should ever feel alone like that. Later that morning, Aim received a message from the base commander asking him to report to the main tent. He told Ariel to stay inside and lock the door until he returned. She nodded, though he could tell she was uneasy. Inside the command tent, several officers stood around a table covered in maps and documents. They all looked serious. Commander Harrow, an older man with a stern face, fixed his sharp gaze on Liam as soon as he entered. Sergeant Ward Harrow began. "We have received information about a group of soldiers who are planning to take the Kailari girl away, possibly tonight." Liam felt anger rise inside him. "Take her where?" "Off this camp. Possibly to hand her over to a group outside the treaty." Harrow's voice grew tighter. "It's illegal and dangerous. But these men believe she shouldn't be here." Liam clenched his fists. "I won't let them get near her." Harrow nodded. "I know. That's why I called you. You're the only one she trusts. You'll need to keep her safe until we deal with this." Liam left the tent with a pounding heart. He hurried back to the building where Ariel waited. She opened the door before he even knocked. "You look troubled," she said quietly. "We need to be careful today," he told her. "Some people might try something. We'll stay inside and keep the door locked." Ariel's hands tightened at her sides. Fear flickered across her face. "They want to take me away?" "They won't," Liam said firmly. "I promise you that." The day passed slowly, each hour filled with tension. Liam stayed alert, watching the windows and listening for any unfamiliar sound. Ariel stayed close, silent but worried. Every time a voice outside grew a little louder than normal, her shoulders tinned. By nightfall, the camp grew quiet. Too quiet. Liam's instincts told him that something was wrong. He moved closer to the door, listening carefully. Ariel stood behind him. Then, faintly at first, he heard footsteps, several of them moving toward the building. Not walking normally. Slow, careful, secretive. Liam backed away from the door. "Ariel," he whispered, "stay behind me." She nodded, though her breathing quickened. The doorknob rattled. Someone tried to open it, found it locked, and then spoke in a low voice. "Break it." The door shook as someone kicked it hard. Once, twice, a third time. Liam took a deep breath and positioned himself in front of Ariel. If they got inside, he was prepared to fight with everything he had. After the fourth kick, the door finally burst open, and 3 men stepped inside. They were soldiers from the camp, men Liam recognized but never trusted. Their eyes were cold and unkind. "Step aside, Ward," the tallest one said. "We're taking her. She doesn't belong here." "You're not touching her," Liam said calmly. Though his heart raced, "This is for the safety of our people," another man said. "She's dangerous." "She's a child," Liam snapped. "And she hasn't hurt anyone." "She will," the man replied. "We're just stopping it before it happens." They took a step forward. Liam braced himself, but before anyone could reach him, Ariel suddenly stepped forward and placed a trembling hand on his back. "Please," she whispered, her voice shaking but brave. "Don't fight them because of me." The men moved again, and Ariel closed her eyes tightly. Her emotions swirled, fear, sadness, desperation. But this time she did not panic. Instead, something inside her focused. A quiet strength rose within her. A soft light began to glow around her, gentle and calm. Not wild like before. Not uncontrolled. It filled the room like a warm breeze. The soldiers froze. Their anger melted away from their faces. Their expressions softened, confusion replacing hostility. Ariel wasn't hurting them. She was simply calming them. Her abilities soothed their emotions instead of intensifying them. Liam stared in astonishment. "Ariel, you're controlling it." She nodded slightly, still focused. "I don't want anyone to be hurt." "Not them. Not you." The men stepped back slowly, confusion growing into guilt. One of them lowered his head. "What? What are we doing?" Another whispered, "She's not a monster." A moment later, more officers arrived, having heard the commotion. They restrained the 3 men and led them out of the building. Commander Harrow approached Liam and Ariel. "What happened in here?" Harrow asked, though he already seemed to guess. "She protected us," Liam said quietly. "And she didn't harm anyone." Harrow looked at Ariel with a new expression of respect. "Your ability, it might help us build trust between our people." Ariel looked unsure. "They were afraid of me." "They were," Harrow replied. "But now they've seen who you really are, and that changes things." Over the next few days, everything shifted. Word spread across the camp, not the twisted rumors from before, but the truth. Soldiers learned how Ariel stopped an attack without hurting anyone. They learned she wanted peace just as much as they did. Slowly, fear began to fade. People who once avoided her now stepped aside, not out of fear, but out of respect. Later, both human and Kailari leaders discussed what happened. They agreed that Ariel's ability could be used to help communication between their species. A new peace-building program was created, and Ariel was invited to join it as a symbol of hope. Before she left for her training, she stood with Liam near the place where it all began. The sun was rising again, painting the sky in soft colors. "You kept your promise," she said softly. "You stayed?" "I'll keep staying," Liam said. "Even if your path takes you far, I'll be wherever you need me." She smiled for the first time in days. A real warm smile. "I'm not afraid anymore." "You shouldn't be," he said. "You showed everyone who you are." Ariel looked out at the horizon, her silver eyes reflecting the morning light. For the first time since she arrived at the camp, she looked hopeful, like the world finally had space for her. Liam felt the same. The war was over. The fear was fading. And a new beginning was rising, just like the sun. Together, they walked forward into that new day, no longer just a soldier and a guarded girl, but partners in something greater: peace, trust, and a bond stronger than fear.